This is the solution to the exercise in lesson 14. The first thing that instructs us to do is create a new project. We'll create it in the C Begin 1 lesson 14 directory with a new directory called exercise. And the first thing that tells us to do is to add a new class to our project, and that class name is customer. And in the customer class, it says to create a field for our customer, and then it tells us to create a constructor that displays a message box. So let's do public sub new, and then message box.show, and the text it wants to display here is customer.new called. The next instruction says that we should create an overloaded constructor that allows the user of the class to set the value of mName at the time the class is created. So let's do this. Public sub new by val name string, and so we'll set mName equal to name. The next instruction says that we should create a message box similar to the one that we created above. I'm just going to go ahead and copy this one and just add the word overloaded. And then it asks us to create a destructor that displays a message box with the message customer finalize called. And to do this, I'm going to go ahead and just select finalize from there, and message box, or actually I'll just paste it in here, and we'll just change new to finalized. So that concludes the use of our class. Next, on the Windows form, it says to add a button. And I won't take the time to change the name and everything, but I would expect for you to do that as you strive to create good applications that follow all the naming conventions that we talked about earlier. And what you should do is, in the click event, create a new instance of the customer class. So we can do something as simple as this. Dim cust as new customer. Alternatively, you can do it in two lines. Dim cust as customer, cust equals new customer. Either way will work just fine. The next instruction is to add a text box and a second button to the form. And in the button's click event, create a new instance of the customer class, passing in the value of the text box to the overloaded constructor. So let's go ahead and double click this. And here we're going to dim cust as new customer. And we'll pass in textbox1 dot text. The next two instructions are perform a check in the overloaded constructor. So we're going to go back to our customer class. If the value of the text box is empty or blank, then display a message box alerting the user that a name for the customer is required. And the reason I told you to do this is because this is the type of validation that you'll want to do within your constructors and within your properties to make sure that the values are within a normal range. So here's what we'll do. If name.length is greater to 0, actually what we'll want to do, instead of greater than 0, let's just put equal to 0. Then messagebox.show, please enter a name, else messagebox.show the name. And that satisfies that last requirement. If the value of the text box is not empty, then set and display the value of mName field in a message box. So that's what we did. Now ideally we would do something like this as well. Let's go ahead and put this here because we only really want to assign our private member variable to the value that's passed into the constructor if the length was greater than 0. If it's not, then we just want to pretty much exit the sub right away. Also, I'm going to take this and put this up here at the very top. Alright, our class doesn't do a whole lot, but it'll satisfy what we're trying to accomplish for our little demonstration here. So let's go ahead and run it and make sure that it works correctly. So this calls our default constructor. This calls our overloaded constructor and displays the word Bob, which was what I typed into my text box. Very good. Now let's go ahead and clear this out. The overloaded constructor is called, but it says please enter a name. Very cool. And now let's shut down our application and we see that the finalize method has been called. So I hope you understand object lifetime just a little bit better after going through the lesson and performing the exercise. And I hope you got pretty close on your own to what you saw here in the solution for lesson 14's exercise. Thank you.